He promised to return. Therefore, in that day, my people shall know my name. Because I myself who speaks will be present. What is written has been fulfilled before our eyes. Those who looked at him will not be ashamed. Soon we will see his transformation. The man Christ Jesus is here.
Hello, Blessed. Today's topic is the weakness of the weakness. And now, the man Christ Jesus.
Today's topic is called the weakness of weakness. In other words, weakness is weak. Hey, that's good to know. Are you weak? Well, that has a weakness, an antidote for weakness. Now, man will be strong with a power that is called the gospel. Romans 1:17 says, "For I am not ashamed of the gospel," because it's what? For what? Power of God for what? To salvation. To what? For the salvation of your spirit, blood was shed. It's not for the salvation of your soul, your spirit. It's not to go to heaven. It's for the salvation in the second aspect, to live in that salvation. So then, how are you going to live in that salvation if you are weak? You know why? Because he made a plan so that you can live in power. And it's called the gospel of the uncircumcision. That's why it says, I am not ashamed of the gospel, because that gives you power to live in salvation, to save yourself of yourself, to save yourself of living in defeat. I cannot be ashamed of that. 7:22, Romans 7:22. 7:22, Romans. I forgot to read it. For I delight in the law of God according to the inward man. That's the spirit. That's the treasure in the earthly vessel. For I delight in the law of God according to the inward man. But I see. The problem is that there are people that don't see it. See another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. I saw it a while ago, and I said, I was in a church that you had to be good no matter what, and you had to fast to kill the flesh that doesn't die. I was 14 days without eating, 14 days fasting. Look, when my mother saw me, she started crying because I had some big holes here. A soap would not fall. Oh, but God's going to make me powerful. Nope. God left an antidote. Look, here it is. I'm going to leave it here for you. It's called the gospel that I left to Paul. Don't ask God, because he's not going to give you any. That's the error of people that God's going to be helping. Oh, help my son. Help him yourself. Take care of my car. No, you take care of it. Take care of my husband. You take care of him. Tell him to read the gospel. Look, he closed the offices of asking. Don't go there because there's no service. The phones are disconnected. God is not helping no one. God left you the help. God left it in the gospel. But if Daddy God speaks to you clearly and tells you, if Daddy God tells you, Paul speaking, I am not ashamed of the gospel. Why are you not ashamed? Because it is the power. But didn't you just say that there isn't not even one good one and that bad is in you and you see that law? That's what I said. But I'm also telling you that there's a power that, look, you remember the magazines of Superman? That's Superman. Powerful. And when I was small, I used to read that. Wow. And how when a bridge was going to fall, he would come, zzz, bop, and he would hold on and the cars would go by. Wow. And all the miracles that he would do, and he would resolve all the problems. But he had a weakness. That was that little rock. That was called kryptonite. right? Boy. And when they would come, Superman, how are you? Raining. And they would go, and the powerful one would fall. Well, look, the grace that I teach is the kryptonite of your weakness. That's what your letters say. I am not here speaking only what you tell me. Thank you, Apostle. You changed my life. That I was like this, and I was this, and I used to yell, and I was doing this and that. And after this word come, those are the testimonies. All of that, I hear it on a daily basis, and those testimonies are beautiful. They are so beautiful. Who's going to leave here? Why are you going to give them a card to sign here because you're going to be a member of Growing in Grace? Me. Even if I don't sign it, I am from here. You have to throw me out of here. And I will get in through the roof. That's why we do not lose one member. Because, hey, this is the windfall. You know how Isaiah said, let the weak say, I am strong. You know what it is? How are you being weak going to say that you are strong? That's a hypocrisy. No, that's not hypocrisy. I am weak. But when grace gets in, I say, well, I am weak, but with grace, I am strong. There are people that tell me, Pastor, pray for me. You pray. I'm not going to be praying for you. Know that your prayer is powerful. No, there are no powerful prayers. Nobody prays. God is not in that. If you start speaking, God's saying, it's flies are going to get into the gospel. Read it. Believe it. Confess it. That's where God's power is. This is good. Don't stop now. What does it say there? Say the word. Say, we live by what is written. We do not deal with emotions or feelings or for alleluias and mystical things. Here, the mystical does not work. Here is the mind and what is written. I believed, therefore I spoke. And that's God's power. And we make strong any weak person without praying for them. But if you say, no, I'm not weak, he's probably weak. How many of you are weak? You are saying that you want God's power to work. You are saying that my position in the flesh is weakness. But I have the gospel. Say, I have the gospel. I know the gospel. I can confess the gospel. I am called to confess it so that the power of God can perfect itself in my weakness. Paul says that you are more than a conqueror. Paul says, I give thanks to God who always leads us in triumph. And how are you going to say that you are always in defeat? You are the one who determines God is not going to help you. It is you. You decide to be more than a conqueror. No, blessed. That is in your hands. In your hands. Him that is together with Christ is one spirit with him. So since you are one spirit with him, well, him in you if you let him. You remember the little butterfly? Don't squeeze it so that life comes out from you. Abba, Father.
Dad, you're my greatest superhero.